Do it.
Go out there, go to L.A., come back Sunday morning. Let's do it.
Yep, okay. Time for us to go, you meant all of us, right?
If you're in, Jenna, I'm in with you, no problem.
Let's go viral. Check this out from the warm-ups before last night's Monday Night Football game. Defensive end Myles Garrett showing he could throw as well. That is a 50-yard spiral. Jets could have used him at quarterback last night.
That's impressive, man. This guy is a freak. 6'5", what's he, 280?
Jenna, did you see Myles Garrett? Did you see him in ESPN the magazine?
I did.
Did you see that? Oh, that's must see.
And do you know that they interviewed him and they said, are there any problem areas, any part of your body you don't like? He goes, I could probably do a little better on my obliques. And you saw how incredible his body looked. He's so dialed in to his physique and his conditioning. It is outstanding. I mean, I just look at it for the articles. That's why I read the body issue.
Jenna, you've never been more interested in anything we've ever talked about.
I got it lit.
For you saying I really enjoyed the article.
Jenna tried to go with the old Playboy magazine.
It was a TV interview, too.
Was it a TV interview?
Yeah, I think it was a
Jenna
TV
has
interview.
no idea.
You saw it. You didn't read it.
The body issue?
Oh, I think she did all the above.
I have that.
I believe that. Let's see, if there's one thing right now Jenna's an expert on, it's the naked athletes that come out in a magazine once a year.
Myles Garrett, his body. OBJ looks good, too. You like him with that haircut, right?
I think he is.
Oh,
I think I like the look. I like the look.
Okay.
He's a cutie.
Okay.
Stories to start your morning. Browns taking on the Jets. Monday Night Football. Here we go. Odell, the cutie. Clear-cut star last night. Finished with 6 catches, 161 yards, and a career-long 89-yard touchdown. Browns win 23-3 over the Jets. All right, CC, how impressive was OBJ last night?
Very impressive. I talked to him before the game. He was ready. He was looking forward to it. I mean, he likes playing in Giants Stadium. Of course, that was the home turf there of the Giants. But I felt like he was going to play good. They've had a DB problem there with the Jets, so I thought he would have the big game. It was nice that he was able to get the big touchdown late to be able to finish it off. But he's looking to have a spectacular season. Told me he's in the right place. You know, the watch thing. I told him, don't wear a watch, man, unless you're going to wear one for $1 million.
So he wore one for $2 million. But he didn't wear it during the game. And, by the way, there were a couple things in this game that I think previously might have derailed Odell mentally, where right after he makes this big play, the refs make him go off the field in the red zone on a key third down when the game is out. It's 0-0. Game's still in the balance. He was upset for a moment, then gathered himself. And right here, after Greg Williams did the Odell Who stuff, and there was that back and forth this week, he didn't do anything towards the sideline. He didn't make any pointed gestures to where that is controversial today, overshadowing how brilliant he was. He reminded the whole world why some people say he's the best receiver in the NFL.
On to the Steelers now. Ben Roethlisberger will undergo season-ending elbow surgery. Big Ben vowed in a statement to, quote, come back stronger than ever next season. Chris, what does the future hold for Roethlisberger?
Oh, I believe he's going to make a comeback. The dude's got heart, man. He has shown that throughout his career. This is a hurdle, but that's what the greatest athletes do. He's one of the most talented quarterbacks that's ever played the position. Tremendous athlete. People would talk about, well, he's not a hard worker and everything. He's gifted. And every once in a while, we have people that come along. They don't have the most tremendous work ethic as far as preparation. Now, the mentals, the X's and O's, he's got that. But no, he's not Drew Brees. He's not Tom Brady. But he's a lot better athlete than them. I expect him to overcome this injury.
But it's good for the Steelers, I suppose, that he's saying he's coming back and he's going to try to come back full strength. I happen to think that we're going to look back and say the last playoff game Ben Roethlisberger ever played in was that shocking defeat at the hand of Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sometimes it happens real quick. And this is one of the reasons why guys can list the missed opportunities, because that year as a whole was a missed opportunity for the Steelers. I wonder if they'll ever be on the precipice of a championship again with him as the quarterback.
When do we see Big Ben in the body issue? Next year, probably year after next? No. Okay, different
When they're trying to go out of business, they're trying to send people to the refrigerator.
Sticking with the Steelers now, they traded their 2020 first-round pick to the Dolphins for safety Minkah Fitzpatrick, the 11th overall pick in last year's draft, who asked the Dolphins to trade him last week. Nick, what do you make of this move?
This was shocking to me. Now, Minkah has enormous value because he's only in year 2, so he's still on the very cheap part of his rookie deal, and he's better than a first-round pick because he's proven. He's a first-round pick that you know is good. So unlike other first-round picks, it's a lottery. I'm shocked Pittsburgh, though, is the team that made the trade after they found out about Ben's injury, because this could be a top 5 pick that they could have used potentially on a quarterback to reboot this thing when Ben is done. They obviously do not want to reboot, take this year off to a degree, and then try to compete for a championship again with Big Ben with an improved defense. But I was shocked that the Steelers are the team that made this trade after they found out Ben's done for the year.
Yeah, I'm glad he asked for a trade because this is the kid who's done everything the right way. He's a Jersey kid. 5-star, decides to go to Alabama. Nick Saban calls him one of the best players he's ever played for him, one of the most mature players. He's one of the few players, too, to ever get out of Alabama without an injury. He's young. He's better than a first-round pick, not only because he's proven, Nick, but they've given the most important part of the contract to him already. That's the signing bonus. Yeah. You don't have to give him a bonus. He only turns 23 in November. Yeah, there's not a kid in college football that is as good as him. Absolutely not. So I like the trade by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I like the demands of the player. If you're going to decide to tank, first time we've seen a team tank, the guy should ask to be out of there because it is not safe to be a Miami Dolphin. Football is the ultimate team sport, and if I can't depend on the talent level, the guy next to me, I don't need to be there. I'm glad he got out of there.
Speaking of guys who want to get out, Jalen Ramsey may not be a Jag much longer. That after he and head coach Doug Marrone got into a heated sideline exchange in Jacksonville's loss Sunday to the Texans. Now reports are Ramsey has requested a trade out. The Jags are looking for at least one first-round pick. All right, CC, what do you make of this whole situation?
Jalen, I wish we didn't see the sideline incident because you don't want to see something like that as far as the head coach and one of the star players. But with Jacksonville and how they have that team built, this was a combustible situation, and it just boiled over in the game. Jalen hadn't been happy there in Jacksonville with a number of situations there. In Jacksonville, how they're going to run their overall team, what kind of team they're going to put on the field. I don't believe that everyone should be able to demand a trade. But if we're not happy, we're not getting along. Tom Coughlin seems like he's got security there. I don't know how the coach could have any type of security. Jalen Ramsey, Pro Football Focus had him before the season, #2 corner. They're not going to sign him to a long-term deal. They decided not to do that, not to exercise that. So you know, if you draft a guy and he has played well, and it's hard to say that you can draft a kid who's going to play better in his first 4 years than Jalen's played. Like, he is supremely talented. He has unusual length. He is unusually large, fast for a corner. He can play off in man. He can play off in zone. He can bump and run. He's tough. He has the temperament. He likes the game of football. So it's not working there. You decide not to exercise the option, it's time for him to get paid and get some security. So he had to be able to force his way out because him and the head coach are not seeing eye to eye.
This is where it can be so frustrating if you're a fan of a team or just a fan of the league, because it feels like some teams in the perpetual rebuild, I don't want to say they're running a con because that's not what it is, but it can feel like that. Because, okay, so now you're going to trade Jalen Ramsey for a first-round pick and something in the hopes of what? Getting a player 80% as good as Jalen Ramsey? Like, it's why not paying him was, to me, so indefensible. Because you can't say, oh, well, the reason we didn't pay him is we're not trying to win this year. No, you went out and paid Nick Foles. You kept Calais Campbell.
Right.
You kept a lot of your defense.
So why do you think they didn't pay him?
I think it was, I happen to think their general manager has an older school mentality than is going to work in the modern NFL. Jalen is a brash guy. Jalen's contract is not up, and so he said, why would I pay you? But it's because that top 5 of the draft, #1, Jared Goff has been paid. #2, Carson Wentz has been paid. #4, Ezekiel Elliott's been paid. He's been as good or better than any of them. He's never missed a game. He's been first-team All-Pro. Joey Bosa is the one who hasn't been paid, but he's dealt with injuries, and the Chargers run a different type of financial organization than almost any team in the league.
Yeah, no doubt.
As far as what his trade value is going to be, that Laramie Tunsil trade might have skewed the marketplace for everybody because he's the same draft class as Jalen, so on the same pay scale as far as when he would need to get his next big contract. He went for 2 firsts and a second. Now, I happen to think the Texans overpaid in that instance, but if you're Jacksonville, you're saying, okay, who's going to give us 2 firsts and a second? I don't know if that deal's going to be out there, but he's going to get moved. They set that into motion when they decided this offseason not to pay the most productive, most available, best player on their team
and
this offseason.
And important to know, this didn't stem just from the one sideline altercation with Doug Marrone. For the casual fan who was watching, this wasn't a player who got into one argument and said, I want out. All right, let's move on to the Saints now. Drew Brees will reportedly have surgery on his thumb after tearing